Hi, I'm Jessica Gregory, and this is my EcoBuzz. Last time we learned about riparian buffers and their importance in maintaining water quality and the health of a stream or river channel.
We learned that buffers have many critical functions, including filtering pollutants, absorbing excess water and nutrients, and reducing sedimentation and erosion by stabilizing stream banks. They provide habitat and food sources for wildlife, and they can save communities a lot of money by reducing the impacts of flooding.
In light of all this, if you or someone you know is a landowner with waterfront property here in West Michigan or elsewhere, you should definitely consider installing a riparian buffer. Doing so will not only protect the water in your own backyard, but it will also improve the water quality for everyone downstream of your property as well. So, how does one go about doing this?
First, something to keep in mind is that riparian buffers should be designed to utilize native plants from your area. This is because native plants are already well adapted to the local weather and climate conditions, in addition to other environmental factors like herbivores. In other words, native plants will have the best chance of thriving along your waterway.
So how do you choose which native plants to use? You'll want to start by looking at the soil type present, as this will impact the species and varieties you choose. You'll also want to plan ahead for future conditions when selecting your plants.
Recent climate change has resulted in warmer summer temperatures on average that have allowed some species to exist in areas farther north than was previously possible. Selecting plants that fall within this category will ensure your buffer remains sustainable if conditions continue to shift in future. If you're not confident evaluating soil type or choosing native plants on your own, contact your local conservation district for help.
Next, you need to consider the size of the area you plan to use for the buffer zone, in addition to the slope of the land leading down to the river or stream. If soil erosion, nutrient, or pesticide pollution are concerns for your location, it is recommended that your buffer zone be at least 55 feet wide in order to provide adequate protection.
Buffers can be divided into 3 zones or sections. Zone 1 is the area immediately adjacent to the waterway, starting at the water line. This area should contain shrubs and trees capable of providing shade, natural woody debris to serve as shelter and habitat for fish and macroinvertebrates, and provide bank stabilization. It is recommended that Zone 1 be at least 15 feet wide, measured from the waterline. Zone 2 is further inland and contains natural or planted trees, shrubs, and other plants that will aid in water and nutrient uptake. This area also provides habitat and corridors for wildlife. The suggested width for Zone 2 is a minimum of 20 feet. Zone 3 is a strip of native tall grass or other non-woody ground cover inland from the other 2 zones. This zone is critical for maintaining soil stabilization and for absorbing nutrients, particularly along urban or agricultural areas, as these plants often have long and branching root systems to reach a larger surface area. Like Zone 2, Zone 3 should be a minimum of 20 feet wide.
While suggested widths are given here, note that the wider the buffer, the more effective it will be.
Also keep in mind that if you're looking to participate in a cost share program to install a buffer on your property, check with your local U.S. Department of Agriculture office for specific criteria to follow.
If you own property adjacent to a river or stream, you may be wondering if your lawn is sufficient as a buffer zone. The answer? It's not.
The grass that grows in your lawn doesn't provide the extensive root systems that come from having a variety of non-woody plants, shrubs, and trees present, and is therefore much less effective at stabilizing banks from erosion. While there are ways to manage your lawn so it's more effective at absorbing nutrients, it won't provide all of the benefits that other native plants do, such as wildlife habitat and natural woody debris. What about wall barriers along a river or stream? Are these effective buffers? Again, the answer is no.
While wall barriers can provide some protection against high water and bank erosion, they can actually cause significant harm to a water channel.
Wall barriers prevent water and nutrient uptake by riparian vegetation and do nothing to slow the flow of water after a rainfall event.
To learn more about installing riparian buffers, talk with your local conservation district or U.S. Department of Agriculture office. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, happy naturing.
This video was sponsored by the Rogue River Watershed Partners through a watershed support grant from the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy.